Hey everyone, this is Matt with 4x4 Ranch, and I'm here today to talk to you about our new 2023 Raptor Bronco. And we'll be comparing this to our 2021 First Edition Bronco. And I know there's a lot of reviews out there on the Raptors. Lots of people are talking about how cool the suspension is, how fast they are. We're not going to go through that. I've been watching those reviews also. What we're going to do is go through stuff that other people aren't talking about. So let's get started in the front here. The first thing that we noticed on this is the Raptor Bronco, in almost no places does it say Bronco on it anywhere. We've had people come up to us and say, what is this? Of course, on the original Broncos or all the other Gen 6 Broncos, it says Bronco right across the grill. For the Raptors, they did the Raptor thing and put Ford across the grill. There are no side emblem badges on this. Even on the regular Gen 6 Broncos, the badges don't say Bronco on them. The only place that it actually says Bronco is here on the windshield. And just like any other Bronco, it uses the same windshield, so it still says Bronco there. That's the only label on the outside of the Raptors that actually says Bronco. So if there's somebody coming up to you that says, wow, that thing's really cool, they usually don't know what it is. The next thing, let's come on in here, let's look at the next thing. When we go wheeling on our First Edition Bronco, we've got the modular bumpers, and we like to take this extra corner off of this. This part comes off with just a few bolts, gives you a lot better approach angle. On the Raptor Bronco, it has the same modular bumper, but it has a large, I think this is a plastic air diverter down here. And while that probably helps with mileage, maybe some airflow issues, it certainly does not help with approach angle. And because this is plastic, that's going to be the first thing that gets ripped off. So when we go wheeling, we'll definitely be taking this off. We'll probably be taking the whole corner off, but in order to do that, we have to take all the lights off too. Now the rest of the bumper is roughly the same. It has a large skid plate on the bottom, much like the First Edition Bronco has a skid plate. But one thing that's a little bit different is it's got the skid plates down here. Here it's got a cover over the bumper. And this silver cover, if you look at this closely, it looks like it's metal, skid plate's metal. The cover is plastic. If you look, you can even see, I can just move this with my fingers. So the cover that goes right along here is just a silver plastic. That is not going to hold up very well to any type of off-roading. So let's work our way around now to the fenders. So everybody knows that the Raptor fenders are drastically different than the regular Bronco fenders, even the Sasquatch fenders, because the Raptor Bronco is almost 10 inches wider, and almost all of that difference is made up in the fender flares. So the fender flares are very large. But what I don't see people talking about is the fact that these are made out of different materials. The regular Sasquatch or non-Sasquatch fenders are made up of a black plastic, and it's just got a kind of textured finish on there. These come on and off really easily. The Raptor fenders are also a plastic material, but this is a painted plastic, and there's even a metallic, if you can see it in the light, there's a metallic in that paint of these fenders. They're not made out of the same material. These are going to definitely handle some of the wear and tear differently than these do. Now, these are also really soft. We've seen a lot of rock chips and damage to these, so hopefully these don't have the same problems. The other interesting thing about these fender flares is they are really wide. I've seen a lot of people complain about that, but I don't feel they look so bad in real life as people like to say they do on pictures. But if you look at the profile from the side, and we'll show some pictures of that, the profile from the side isn't your standard Bronco. All modern Fords and modern Broncos have a perfect like half circle shape to it. It's very round. When they went to the Raptors, they went back to the shape that's reminiscent of the early Bronco front fenders and the fender flares that everybody would put on the early Broncos. So it kind of comes up at an angle, straightens out, and then comes back at an angle, very much like an early Bronco would. So from the side profile, this is actually more of a touchback towards the early Bronco styling than the regular Gen 6 Broncos, which look more like your standard F-150 Ford styling. Stepping back a little bit farther, this I found interesting, is on the First Edition Bronco, it uses a nice painted plastic cover, or painted metal, or I think it's plastic, painted plastic cover over the rearview mirrors. On the Raptor Broncos, they actually just use that textured black plastic. So this doesn't have quite the high-end appeal that you would think that you would be getting with this high-end of a vehicle. I expected this to have a painted cover on the rearview mirrors, much like our first edition does. And that continues on as you go back. Our first edition has got painted color-matched door handles. When you go to the Raptors, although they're a very expensive high-end vehicle, they get just a standard black plastic door handles. I expected it to be color matched like you would get with the Raptor. So a couple differences. I just thought, you know, for as high end of a vehicle, I know Ford's doing this with some. Why they're not adding that high end to the Raptors, I'm not sure. Let's walk around to the back and then look at the tailgate a little bit. Now on the back side, everybody's talking about how the Raptor comes with the reinforced spare tire mounts to give a little more structural integrity to the tailgate with that spare tire mount. What they're not talking about so much is that they actually come with an accessory mount both on the top and the bottom hinges. So you don't have to take the hinge bolts out to add accessories. Now I haven't actually seen any of these accessories, so if anybody's found accessories that are designed to mount there, please put something in the comments because I haven't been able to find anything yet. But it is nice because on a regular Gen 6 Bronco, these are painted hinges and the bolts are painted also. So if you take these bolts out, you're gonna chip the inside of the Allen head off a little bit, and it's not gonna look as nice. So with this, it's all black. You can take this on and off multiple times. It's not gonna do any damage. Another difference with the spare tire carrier is the spare tire is actually mounted a little bit higher. It sits about an inch higher, the center point here, sits about an inch higher than it would on a regular Gen 6 Bronco. So this gives you a little bit more clearance for spare tires between the tire and the bumper. It also gives you more clearance with that spare tire between the tire and the ground. If you're going off-roading, gives you that little extra space considering it's got a slightly larger tire than a Sasquatch Bronco would have. The negative of that, of course, is that by pushing this tire up a little bit higher, it blocks your rear view even more. And then on top of that, they push the tire up higher, then they put the large third brake light on the back. So this, again, has the Raptor styling, and of course this is a rule, a law that you have to have for a vehicle this wide. It has to have 3 lights. So this third brake light isn't just a third brake light, it is also a tail light. So this is always on when you're driving with your lights on, and then when you hit the brakes, this gets brighter. But this is actually a third brake light, but it's very large. It's more than twice as wide as what a Gen 6 Bronco would have. It also sits higher, so this takes away a lot of visibility from the rear view. It looks cool, it matches the front, but it does take away a lot of visibility. So the last thing that we noticed on the exterior of these two Broncos is with the headlights. On the high-end headlights on the 6th Gen Broncos, they've got the halo around the headlight, and then they've got the dash down the center that they use for the flasher. Well, on the Raptor Broncos, of course, the whole front is keyed to be an amber light, so they use an amber halo, but because it's an amber halo, they actually flash with the dash and the halo to be your turn signal flashers. So the entire headlight halo and dash flashes, where here it's just the center part. So this concludes our video on the differences we're finding with the new Raptor versus our first edition Bronco. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content. We're going to be talking more about what we discover about the Raptor as we get to know it better, and we're going to be taking it out on the trails. We're going to be doing a lot of riding, and you can see exactly what this is capable of.